So Florida at Kentucky. Kentucky is a 1.5 point favorite. If you go to our friend Parker Fleming's site and you check out his CFB graphs and you get the one sheet for this game, Kentucky would be a 6.5 point favorite based on the expected points added and all those different stats. That is a big gap. You've got a 5 point gap between both of those things. And my problem with this is I don't know what Kentucky is yet because they haven't played anybody particularly good. We had Nick Roush from Kentucky Sports Radio on yesterday's show. He kind of scared me because I'm thinking Kentucky's, just messing around a little bit, but they haven't played. But he said there's just some straight boneheaded stuff going on offensively sometimes where they'll look great and then they'll have a period of a few plays where it's just a disaster. And that scares me in a game like this because that's how you commit turnovers or have that just crippling play that allows the other team to score something easy.
Yeah, so here's I'm wondering if Kentucky is similar to Michigan. Hear me out for a second.
Okay.
Haven't really played anybody who's tested them. Playing at an incredibly slow pace. Go look at Kentucky's plays per game. They're barely averaging 60 plays per game.
Yeah.
They had one game against Eastern Kentucky where you're like, hey, what's going on there? Now, listen, how much of either of us actually watched Kentucky this year, right? They have been so under the radar that you haven't even
Well, and like the Vandy game, you were going to watch that because they got beat by Vandy last year, but then they jump on them. Yeah, they jump on them so quick. It's like, okay, well, that's done.
What I do see out of Kentucky, again, like they're running very few plays. So clearly they're trying to play a game at a certain pace. But man, I'm just looking at numbers here. They're averaging third best yards per play in the SEC. They're gaining yards here. Their playmakers look good. Davis and Key. I'm seeing some good stuff here, but you're right. Then Devin Leary's got 5 interceptions. What's going on there? But I do wonder if Kentucky is just what we're thinking of as maybe Kentucky either starting slow or what's going on is them just deciding we're going to play at a really slow pace in these games where we know we can win. You're right. We don't know about Kentucky.
I think that's the pace they want to play in all the games.
They do. So. We don't know about Kentucky. We will learn a lot about them. But my guess is what we're going to learn about them is they're pretty good.
So here's the deal with Florida. Looked bad against Utah. Looked good against Tennessee, but we don't really know what Tennessee is yet. Was efficient and ran the ball well against Tennessee. Still have not wowed you through the air.
No.
So if Florida wins, it's probably because they move the ball on the ground. I will tell you one key thing, and this was going to affect how I picked this game. This came out within the last hour or so. Kingsley Guakin's going to play Florida's center. Okay. He has played in one game this season, the Tennessee game. There was a marked difference in how they played offensively in that game. Now, maybe that was Tennessee's defense, but he's had an ankle injury. He had a setback after the Tennessee game. Didn't play against Charlotte, but they're ready to play with him on Saturday. So because of that and that alone, I'm taking Florida to cover in this game.
Yeah. The funny thing is I'm looking to make sure because I don't want to give you picks that I make here and have them be different from what I actually did in print.
Oh, no. You're fully allowed. We talked about this with Casey Smith last week. She's like, I don't want to lock myself into something on my own show. I'm like, don't worry. You're not. You can have both.
But I did pick Kentucky to win and cover here. A relatively close game, 23-20, 24-21, something along those lines. Again, it's a small number here. I said I like what I'm seeing out of the efficiency out of Kentucky. I do worry about where the plays are going to come from Florida's passing game. Here's one thing, though.
They may not. They may only come from the run game.
Here's the interesting part, about this game, sort of the underline. Forget about the stats and the matchups. And as someone who was once a Gator tackling dummy and lives in Gainesville, the idea that the Kentucky game has become a barometer for Florida has got to be driving the Gator fans out of their minds. Mm-hmm. And it is like, this is a big sort of swing game. Like, you win this game, and now if you're Florida, you're going, okay, like, we could have a pretty nice season here. But the simple fact that this rivalry, Florida once won 31 straight, is now a swing game, is now a game like as a measuring stick game for Florida. That, like, that's got to be unacceptable to Florida fans.
Ralph, Kentucky's trying to win 3 in a row here.
3 in a row.
Yeah.
I think it was 1977 the last time they won 2 in a row. I didn't even look up 3 in a row.
You could not have put what you said.
The Bear had to have been there 3 in a row.
You could not have put that any more perfectly. And you're exactly right.
Yeah.
And so this is what I said after the Tennessee game, because everybody was riding high, and it was the Gators are back. The swamp is back. Everything is back. It all goes away if they lose to Kentucky.
Yeah.
Every inkling of that goes away if they lose to Kentucky.
Yeah.
And they do have to win this game, or it will be doom and gloom again, which that's no way to be, by the way. That's part of the problem, is that they are on this roller coaster, up, down, up, down. Can't be like, hey, sometimes you lose. It happens. But that's where they're at.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick them. It may be the last time I pick them if they burn me on this one. But I'm picking the Gators because they need this one. And again, Kingsley Aguakin coming back, I think he makes a big difference.
Yeah, I'll take the other side of that. I'll go with Kentucky to continue the misery. But yeah, this definitely is one of those, like, where for the Florida, like, this isn't a rivalry. This is not supposed to be a rivalry. We just win this game. And but again, I could see Kentucky making the misery or lighting the fuse again on Billy Napier with a win in this game.
Exactly. And will it stay lit? Not if they go beat somebody they're not supposed to beat, but then if it goes according to chalk and they did lose this game, then it gets ugly.
But I think Florida will end up having a decent year here. I think they'll piece together something along the lines of, I mean, this is not going to be, this is not going to sound great, Florida.
I've been saying 7-5.
Yeah, I think they can get to around 6 to 7, but not winning. I think for Florida fans, they think of it as like, if we can't beat Kentucky, how would we ever get to 7? And my answer to that is no. Kentucky might be pretty good. There still might be 7 wins for you there, even losing to Kentucky.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples On 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.